Sainers. Hope you're having a great Friday. I'll wait for a few more people to tune in and we'll get stuck into the team. We'll try and keep it sharp tonight, quick and short and sharp, and we'll let everyone get to their Friday nights, but we'll go through the teams. It's a couple of surprises, to be honest. I didn't think Rats would go for a couple of big omissions, but he's gone with it. Hopefully it kind of sets the tone for tomorrow and gives everyone a kick up the arse that they need, knowing that not everyone's going to be gifted games. I know that some people wanted other players dropped. The two that he has picked, I don't know if I agree, but let me know if you do, and we'll go straight into the teams now. And yeah, keep the comments coming. I'll go through the teams, we'll preview it, and then I'll answer your questions. So we're taking on Hawthorn tomorrow, 4:35, Marvel Stadium. Big game for us. We need to win this. We go 3-4 if we win this, and then we go to the Gold Coast and play the Suns. So the next 2 weeks are massive for us. It starts tomorrow. There's no excuses. We've got Paddy Ryder back, which is huge, with Rowan Marshall, who came back last week. So we've got the two-pronged ruck combination there. Hopefully Frawley gets through Sandringham this week into the VFL, and then he comes in next week. So we're slowly getting troops back. Gira is a couple of weeks away apparently, so he's not far off. He thinks he'll be back by around 12 or 13. So we're looking good on the injury front. In terms of tomorrow's game, as I just alluded to, Paddy Ryder is a big in. The other one is Ryan Burns, who hasn't played since mid last year. So that's a big one for me. A bit of youth, a bit of speed, and I think that when you lose Long and Mackenzie, who are not playing tomorrow as well, that they needed to bring in some speed to back that up. So I think Ryan Burns has been doing okay in the VFL, and fair enough that he gets the nod. And against Hawthorn's midfield, it's not the most experience going around. I think it's probably worth giving him a go. I think it's still a bit stiff on... I'm not sure if Bytel's in the team as well, so we've got both of them there, which is great. And then we've got Webster, and so Ben Long omitted, had a very poor game last week. We all know that. Mackenzie suspended for 1 week. I thought that was a bit harsh, but the club accepted it, didn't even bother challenging it. Maybe with the fact that they knew Webster was coming in anyway and that Mackenzie was probably going to make way, so maybe accepting it was the best thing to do. You probably don't go with Webster and Mackenzie in the same lineup unless you play Mackenzie a bit further up the ground. The other omission, Carlisle. This one I don't get. I know that Carlisle's been in the ruck, and I know that with Ryder coming in and being the other ruckman, that obviously that means Jake's position in the ruck is in jeopardy. And to be fair, he was only pinch hitting there until Ryder and Marshall were both fit. He's done that, but I still don't understand the logic of keeping Joyce in the back line ahead of him with Dougal Howard. Carlisle is a very good intercept mark. At our best last season, he was there. He was playing. He played in our first final win in 10 years against the Bulldogs. He played in the big wins during the season. He was there. He allowed our mids to run forward of the ball because when the ball was turned over, he was there to intercept with Dougal Howard, with Caulfield. Takes the pressure off him as well. So it's interesting that the coaches have still, despite all the good form that Carlisle's been in, even in the ruck and out of position where it's not his forte, let's face it. He's done a good enough job for us until the rucks have been fit, and his reward is, oh, well, you're out of the team. So I think it's a bit harsh. I think his best position is centre-half back, and that allows the rest of our defence to play off a little bit, knowing that he's there to intercept. I've just read Peter Carlisle injured and sick at training. Okay, well, if that's true, scrap everything I just said. I wasn't aware of that. I know that Brad Hill was a chance of missing, and even Jack Billings was 50-50. But if Carlisle's sick, then hopefully he can recover and come back in. So that's that one. And then the other one was Ben Long. Loney, another one that I thought was a bit harsh. We talked about him on the podcast and thought that he's been okay as a small. He hasn't hit the scoreboard as much as Jack Higgins, but he's hit it more than Dan Butler, and he's probably gotten more of the ball around the ground than Dan Butler. So based on that form, I think Dan Butler's very lucky, but he's got more runs on the board. And we talked about this in the podcast, that he has the form from last year to save him in these situations. And Jack Loney, despite his good form, Ratton alluded to it during the week that maybe we were playing too many smalls. 3 smalls is probably too many. And he's gone with the 2 this week. He's gone with Higgins playing his 50th game. And Brad Crouch, by the way, playing his 100th game in the AFL. So congrats to them. But I think going with the 2 is probably going to be better suited for us. Last year, I think we did that really well. And this year, I think probably too small. And that's kind of impacted our use going forward. We don't have that aerial sort of strength that we did last year, and this week, especially with Ryder, Marshall, Battle, King, Membry, we've got the tools there to really pick Hawthorn apart, but they're not going to be an easy win. Hawthorn all year haven't been an easy win. They should have beaten Geelong. They had a great come-from-behind win against Adelaide. They're coached by Alistair Clarkson, who just knows how to get the best out of any team. He's like Ross Lyon. Ross Lyon could drop 10 players and we'd still win. It's because of his structure. It's just because of his coaching knowledge and the respect that the players have for him. So it's not going to be an easy game. The odds say that. We're about $1.60 or $1.70 and Hawthorn are $2.20. So it's a close one in the betting, and rightly so. Both teams are 2-4. Both teams are pretty unpredictable, but you'd have to say Hawthorn have been better than us this season. They've played better. They've been more consistent. They've had a come-from-behind win like us, and they've had another win as well, and they should have beaten Geelong. So they really should be 3-3 going into this game. But the table is what it is. We're 16th at the moment with the second worst percentage in the comp, and they're 15th. Not looking too much better anyway, despite their win last week. So for us, it's just, I say it every week. And I want us to win, just so I don't have to sound like I'm repeating myself every week. But we need to get back to what we did last year. We need to take the game on. And I love that Seb Ross came out during the week and said, we've been playing boring football. We haven't been playing our way. We've been playing slow. We don't want to take risks. We've just kind of been lethargic with our ball use and not really making things happen. We're just kind of expecting things to happen. So I think it's massive for someone like Seb Ross, who's in the leadership group, to come out and call out basically the coaching staff and say, well, we're playing in a boring way. We need to change this. So from reports, they've been pretty intense on the track this week in terms of training and playing the ball faster. They've been pretty intense, so much so that the AFL like to film Zach Jones and Brad Hill having clearly what was a constructive chat, a heated chat, but a constructive chat. And they've made it this massive thing. Oh, Saints players hate each other. They're going off at each other. They're just, they don't want to be playing in the same team. It's just something's going on. And I know I said there were rumours last week, but what the AFL, what the media's done with this footage is ridiculous. They're trying to make it bigger than it is. They're trying to make a story when there is none. They're trying to start a fire when there is none. So I want both those boys, Brad Hill and Zach Jones, to have massive games tomorrow. That footage was ridiculous, and the AFL clearly are having a slow news week, so they thought that'd be good content, and some people will buy it. I'm not buying it. You can tell from the footage that it's nothing. So I think for us tomorrow, we need to take the game on. Hawthorn are not going to be easy. We need to win the contested ball. That's something that we've done a bit of this year, but I feel like last week and the week before especially, we just dropped off the face of the earth with that sort of stuff. We need to get back to that. And I think Paddy Ryder's importance and Rowan Marshall going forward, and just the fact that they can both rotate and have another outlet, is going to not only help us in the middle and give our mids confidence that they can run off their man, that we don't have to be a default defensive side. We can actually play off them. And that's what we did so well against West Coast. And we didn't have those. We had Marshall, we didn't have Ryder. And I think just having, even just the fact that Ryder in the team gives our mids confidence is already changing the game for us. And it allows Max King to get a bit more isolation and not to be the focus in the forward line. If Marshall's resting there, or Ryder and Membry, maybe Battle as well, the defences that we're going to come up against in the next few weeks, they're going to have their hands full. It's not going to be bomb it to King's Head and stop him and rebound. It's going to be, well, Marshall's going to be chopping out there and leading. Ryder's going to be chopping out and leading. Battle's there. Membry's very capable in the air. We all know this. So I think it'll help Max King, if anything. His form's been down the last couple of weeks, and that's because he's been the main focus. Membry's had to push up the ground because the ball's not getting into the 50. He's trying to find the ball, trying to influence the game in other ways, and that's what Membry does well, and that's why he's such a great leader. But what that does at the same time is leave Max King one out, and they can double team him like they did last week. And that just hurts us. That's quick turnovers. We don't defend on the return ball very well, and they go up the other end and kick goals. So for us, we need to play smarter. We need to play faster, but controlled fast, and hold up the ball a bit more. You know, last week we just let Port Adelaide dictate the game. They had 150 more marks. We didn't defend well, and we gave them the ball and gave them easy avenues towards goal. So for us, we need to go back to what we did so well last year, is just tackle and spread. We're tackling okay this year. We're not bottom for tackles. I think we're mid-table, but we're hopeless for marks and for just spreading of the ball. So we need to get the ball, we need to use it well, and isolate our forwards. And with the ruck stocks we've got, I think that can be the big difference in the game. You know, if we didn't have Marshall and Ryder going into this week, you'd say it's a dead-even game, if not Hawthorn are favourites. But the fact that we've got Marshall back that can go forward and Ryder that can go into the middle, and they're both different in terms of their ruck work, but they're both very effective with how it complements our mids, I think is massive for us. With Crouch, Jones, Bytel can go through there, Burns off the wing as well with Billings and Hill. So I think this on paper, our team is getting close to full strength. I feel like next week Joyce comes out and Frawley or Carlisle come back in. So we're going to get some troops back, and then Geary as well will come back in. So I think that's kind of my preview, guys. I'm going to go through some questions. I'll just load it up now, and I'll answer your questions. I'll keep it short and sharp, like I said, and we can all enjoy the big game tonight, Richmond and I think Bulldogs, and then get ready for the big game at Marvel against the Hawks tomorrow. Okay, so Christopher said, thank God Loney is out. Look, I don't know, am I the only person that's a bit surprised that Loney's been dropped, or has everyone kind of been expecting that? I thought his form's it's not been the worst out of all the players, out of the recent losses. I haven't felt like there's been a lot of comments about, God, Jack Loney cost us that game. God, he was terrible. You know, he's been quiet, but he hasn't been the worst player, and he's one player that tries. You can tell he's trying to find the ball. He's chasing, he's tackling. He kicked a couple of goals against Richmond. He was pretty good against West Coast, I thought. And his ball use overall has been one of the better things about our season. Going inside 50, he actually lowers his eyes. It's just that he doesn't get enough of it, and he doesn't hit the scoreboard enough. So I can see why they thought dropping him was the go, but it could potentially be just game plan. You know, it's not like we've had another small come in to take his position. It's literally a tactical change. So he might be back next week depending on how we go and the opposition and what sort of style Rats is going for. But he did say 2 smalls is the go this week. So they had to stick with Butler, and obviously Higgins is the other one that's very versatile and been our most influential small this season. So I guess it does make sense, but it was still a bit of a surprise for me. How was Joyce not being dropped? I think Carlisle being sick or having the back spasm. I saw some comments there, and him being out's probably the reason for that. I dare say that if Frawley and Carlisle were both fit, that he probably doesn't get a game overall, and if he does, he gets dropped this week. What else we got? Sammy says, we've done better with tackling the last week or two, but overall we've been fairly shit in that area. Chris says, Wingard, O'Meara and Burgoyne all out for Hawks. Let's go. That's massive for them. Wingard especially always has a good game against us. Burgoyne is just Burgoyne. He's just class, and he finds the ball and he hurts you by foot. And then O'Meara is one of their better inside mids. So the fact that we can really just focus on Tom Mitchell and maybe tag him. Seb Ross to tag someone like Tom Mitchell. He's capable of doing it. Give him that simple task. I think that goes a long way to winning the game. And we've got the ruck stocks now to really get first use. And when you're getting first use, you don't really need to focus too much on the opposition midfield. It's when they start getting the easy use out of the middle. That's when you need to worry and start playing defensive side and tagging. But I'm backing that Ryder and Marshall are going to give us more first use than not, and we're going to win clearances. And hopefully that means get more inside 50s and have a chance of getting scoreboard pressure. Because last week we broke even with Port. We had 52 inside 50s to 52. The first quarter we had 17 or 18 inside 50s to 7. We had the same amount of scoring shots. It's just that they kicked straight and that created that 15-point difference at quarter time. So if we can fix that tomorrow, go back to kicking accurately, get more 20 to 30 out ball and not 40 to 50 out like it was last week. Really shallow entries. I think that'll bring our smalls into the game, but that means that if our talls mark the ball, it means that we're going to get easy shots directly in front, and that probably means we convert more than we don't. So fingers crossed that's the strategy tomorrow. Marcus says, last year we didn't go to Perth. Why is the important... While they had the most fans in the ground relative to stadium capacity, we had a bottom 6 team. I don't know what that means, mate. Sorry. Andrew says, don't blame the media, mate. It's all our own doing. Not a bad call. I did say that last week, that even just with fans talking shit about our club, that they've asked for this. We've been in poor form. Teams that obviously are winning, everyone praises them, talks them up as premiership favourites. That's Melbourne and Bulldogs. So if we turn on and have a good performance tomorrow, I know that people are still going to say, well, we need to back it up 2 weeks in a row, and I'll be the first to say that. But it starts tomorrow, and if we have a good, big, solid win tomorrow, I feel like it's at least 1 week where the media's not going to talk shit about us, because I feel like every week I'm watching On the Couch, I'm watching Fox Footy, and they're just talking shit about St Kilda, and rightly so. That's correct. You're spot on there, mate. But yeah, we want to get the win and just put all that kind of in the rearview mirror and forget about that, and hope that that's the worst that we can get this season. I can't imagine the rest of the season being as poor as the first 6 weeks. Let's hope that that's the worst that it gets, and we can improve, and it's only up from here. So that's the glass half full approach from me. Lewis says, are you going to tune into Cooper Gresh's Tom Morris interview and embarrass Saints supporters even more? I don't know if is that true? Is he actually talking to Tom Morris? Because if so, that's crazy. Good on him for organising that. But no, I'm not going to watch that. I got better things to do, but good on him for doing that and putting out quality content. Josh says, very keen to see Ronnie Burns get an opportunity. Need to get back to the basics and put all the infighting to the side. I agree. Bringing in Ryan Burns hopefully creates that sort of enthusiasm. Often when teams are struggling, you see they bring in a youngster that that debuts or gets a game early in their career, and it kind of just gets everyone up and about and just gets the energy a bit higher, a bit more positive in the rooms before the game. So hopefully with Ryan Burns running out, it means that the boys are switched on and we bring our best tomorrow. And hopefully he has a great game too, because he's been doing well in the VFL. It was a bit hard last year. He played against Port Adelaide when we won, but they played him kind of in the forward pocket. It's not his go. He's a wingman. He's a centreman. So hopefully we do see him on the wing and even in the guts at times. It'd be exciting to have such a young player going through there and seeing what they can do. Tyson says, if we lose this week, Ratton out, Godfather in. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, mate. But if the Saints TV faithful vote for me and want me to go for it, mate, I'll apply for it. No worries about that. But I have full faith in Ratton. I'm skeptical about the changes that he makes, but I think that he's got a vision, and hopefully tomorrow we see really what that vision is and see that means good football and hopefully the 4 points as well. Just gonna get to scroll to some new comments. Douglas says, Beers determined as the Hawks. Saints, the win will come. Exactly right. Just bring the pressure, bring the intensity, focus for 4 quarters. Don't put your heads down if the momentum doesn't go our way. That's when we're at our worst. We just put our heads down the second the opposition kick a goal or two. We just think that the game's over. It's not over, boys. Just keep your heads up. We're there cheering you on. Just fight it out like you did against West Coast, and you'll get the 4 points. You'll get the reward. Eventually. It may not happen immediately, but it'll happen at some point in the game where you work hard, it'll turn, you'll get the shot away, you'll get the goal, and hopefully we'll get the win. Sinquiz, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but Still no mention of the rumours you're hearing. Starting to think you aren't hearing anything. No, I heard something pretty clear last week, and it was pretty certain, but I don't think there's no point in me adding fuel to the fire. I want the boys to succeed, and I want them to focus, and it was just something that the opposition... The rumour was essentially that the opposition that we played one week overheard something on the field, and they thought it just meant that we weren't switched on. And I'm not going to say exactly what was said and what game it was or anything, but it was just kind of verbal and just showed that the boys weren't switched on in that game. It could just be an isolated incident, so that's why I don't really think it's worth sharing, but that's basically what it was in a nutshell. Hopefully... We hear the boys yelling on field tomorrow, but it's constructive and they're telling blokes what to do, because we've been too quiet this season. It's known across the AFL, and even people that have worked on the bench, as I've said previously, that we're a quiet team. We don't talk on the bench. We don't yell and bark instructions. That's something that needs to change, and something I think that was a focus during training this week. Ratton was happy to see Jones and Hill having heated words and pointing and talking about the game plan, because it means they care. That's at least something that I take out of it, that we care. We want them to show emotion. We don't want them to be robots and just putting their heads down and accepting the way we're going. We want them to care, and I play sport, and when I'm losing, I'm telling people what to do. I'm accepting my own criticism from other people, and we're trying to verbally fix it, because that's the only way you can improve. You're not going to just lead by example and it's just going to suddenly work. You need to talk and say, mate, do that. And you're holding your teammates accountable. Just like what Caulfield did to Dougal Howard last week. The footage came out and it showed Caulfield holding, basically grabbing Dukes after a goal was kicked when he went to take that crazy specky. And that to me showed leadership. It was basically saying, hey mate, wake up, forget that, your head's out of the game, get it back into the game. We need more of our boys doing that. So I think that's a great sign and hopefully a sign of things to come for the club. Hopefully no bombing the ball on King's Head. That's from Gary. Marks is also surprised Dunstan wasn't rewarded after responding with a 46 possession game for Sandy. I agree. I think they didn't because they gave him a chance the week before against Richmond and he didn't take it. And Burns was the next in line who's been as consistent as Dunstan in the VFL, and I think it only made sense to give him a go. You need to go through the depth. You need to see how good these players are. We can't just be playing them in the VFL and them tearing it up there and we don't know how good they are. Dunstan's had over 100 games, I think, of AFL experience. He's been inconsistent. Burns has had less than 5, so we need to give him time. He's that next wave with Bytel that need to get minutes at AFL level, and I'm glad that he's rewarded. And it's a good week to do it. Back at Marvel against, medium opposition. You're not bringing him against Richmond and getting flogged, but I think it's a good midfield to come up against with the injuries that Hawthorn have. So hopefully it's a great game. Sammy says, if we can't start winning the centre clearances, our mids can actually get going and start moving the ball better, giving better inside 50s. Strength through loyalty is from Kay. Cooper Gresh said, Joyce still in, lol, Carlisle should be in, Loney 2 yet, Battle and Caulfield staying. Mate, come on, Caulfield's going to stay in. That's just trolling. Battle, I agree. I think he's on the edge. I think if he doesn't have a good game this week, there's a chance he gets dropped. But Caulfield's, it's been his best 2 weeks in the last 2 weeks of the season. There's no way he gets dropped. You don't drop someone that's just finding his feet again. That just hurts his confidence. And what's he going to do at VFL level? He's just going to dominate anyway. We're going to know that he has a great performance. But it's all about AFL level. And I think that's partly why Rats hasn't dropped a Hill or a Butler's, because they're going to tear it up in the VFL anyway. They need to find form in the AFL, and that's where we need them to find form the most, and that's where it's most beneficial for the team. So I'm all for that. Chris says, good selection, I think. Drop the right players. I'd love to see Bytel play in the middle all day. We need a young player to have a breakout game. Sam says, surely Highmore gets another go. Didn't deserve to be dropped in the first place. I agree there. I think Highmore's a bit stiff not to be playing ahead of Joyce. Duncan says, go Saints, we can do it. Have faith, Saints fans. Lachlan says, what's the problem with the club? Seriously, you alluded to it not long ago, but what's wrong? Look, I think it's just the frustration of losing. I genuinely think that, there are some tense players in the team at the moment, and players don't always agree. I play football, I play indoor soccer. There are times in a game where you just disagree. But it doesn't mean that there's something going on within the club. This I don't know because obviously I'm not at the club. I'm not within the four walls of Moorabbin, so it's hard to tell. But hopefully once you start winning, and that's just natural, you feel happier, the club love what they're doing. It means that the training during the week is getting rewarded on the weekends. And the worst part is you train all week, you get flogged. You train all week, you get flogged. You're like, why am I busting my gut every week if we're just losing? But you've got to find a way, and hopefully with the intense talks that supposedly have been having between the players this week, in particular Hill and Jones, that means that those players are making each other accountable and saying, that's not good enough, do that, because we haven't done that enough. You see the best teams doing that, and hopefully we see it more tomorrow. And it means in-game we can adapt. I feel like in most games when we're behind, we just kind of put our heads down and accept it, and we lose in silence. I'd rather lose and see players pointing fingers and yelling at blokes to man up and to do what's going to be the difference at the end of the day, whether you win or you lose. So I think it's important. Yeah, I might leave it there, guys. I'll go through a few more questions and then we'll wrap it up. It's nearly 7 o'clock. Sammy says, spot on, Jake. That's exactly why Hill hasn't been dropped. We know he'll smash it at VFL level, but we need him to find form in the AFL. Phillips says, going back to the VFL, can you help build confidence? Can help build confidence. Can't keep accepting mediocrity. I agree there, mate. Spot on. And we've dropped Loney, Carlisle. They're two there. I don't think we can drop any more than that. And with the style that we want to play that's going to win us games, that hopefully finds the way back into the top 8, you need Brad Hill firing. You need Dan Butler firing. You need these players playing their best football. Because our depth's struggling at the moment. Sandy's struggling to win. They're struggling to get players on the park, to be honest. We've got a lot of injuries there, and that means that we can't really drop as many players as we would have liked earlier in the season when we were losing games. Can we give Cooper a birthday shout out? Is it actually his birthday? If it is, happy birthday, mate. Hope you're going well. Any words on Dan Hanbury? It's from Hussein. Yeah, he's injured. We're paying him a lot of money. It's very frustrating. I hope that, we talked about it a lot last year, that off the field his leadership's invaluable. I hope it's the case this year. I feel like it's not as much, but I hope that he's at training and he's talking to the boys and helping them through their form slumps, and particularly Brad Hill and Dan Butler's going up to them and really giving them some confidence and some wisdom. That's at least the least that he can do. I think he's still like 6 or 7 weeks away. He had a setback a few weeks ago, but yeah, it's not looking likely that he'll play more than 5 games this season. More than 3 or 4 games, probably, to be honest. But maybe come finals, if we can squeeze it in there, we'll bring him back and get that experience that he showed last year in the finals that helped us get over the line against the Dogs. Yeah, I might leave it there, guys. I appreciate everyone watching on their Friday nights. It's a massive game for the club tomorrow. I'm going to be there. Hopefully you all turn up as well. I don't want to see a small crowd of 10,000 there based on our poor form and the fact that we're playing Hawthorn. It's at Marvel. Get your tickets if you haven't already. Get to the game. Cheer the boys on. We need them to feel the energy in the ground. That's when we play our best football, is when the crowd's loud and cheering them on. And even the players have said that. It's the energy that the fans bring. It's not going to be an easy game. I'm not taking Hawthorn lightly. It would not surprise me if they beat us. They've just got a disciplined team. They've got a very good coach, one of the best in the history of the AFL. We all know that. And you can get the best out of, medium players that aren't quite good, but he gets the best out of them. And, we've got a Kajitsky out there tomorrow that's not going to be playing for St Kilda, and he kicked 5 last week. He had a massive game. We need to worry about him. They've got a lot of other players that, not quite known in the AFL system at the moment because they're new, but they're going to be stars in the future. So we need to make sure that they don't have breakout games tomorrow. Last week, we allowed Port Adelaide to debut a player, and he just ran rings around everyone, and we gave him all the time in the world, and he had over 23 possessions. So we need to hit the inexperienced Hawthorn players hard and make them chase us and let them feel the heat. Because when they've felt the heat against the better teams this year in Melbourne's, in the Richmond game, they've cracked. So we bring the heat, we get the turnovers, we get it in fast, isolate our talls, and hopefully the Smalls do their job at ground level as well, and we kick a winning score. So until then, guys, I appreciate you all watching. Thank you so much for watching. This will be up on YouTube as well if you want to rewatch it. If you've missed some of it, it'll be up on YouTube as well, so you can watch it from the start. Podcast is out already. We preview the game as well as talking about last week's loss. And I'll be back tomorrow after the game for the live review, as always, from Marvel Stadium. So thanks again for watching, guys. See you tomorrow night. Go Saints.